What's up, everybody? It's your boy Harvey back. And today I'm just going to kind of jump straight into it because this has kind of been heavy on me, especially this past week with so many, so many things going on in this world. And I don't know, Lord's laid it on my heart that I need to remind people what the Word says and necessarily tell you what we need to do to fix that more or less. Because all this stuff going on, you know what? I'm just going to jump straight into the Word right here. Let me see. I'm on my Bible, flip pages on me. Here it is. Okay. In Matthew 12 and 25, it says, "And Jesus knew their thoughts and said to them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand." So, I'm sure a lot of y'all are sitting here thinking that I'm going to be doing from based off what of the news and stuff. No, I'm not preaching or teaching you about what's been going on in the news. I'm talking about what this nation has been doing because of the news and stuff like that. And what we've been doing is that we have been fighting amongst ourselves. It's been one side against the other. It's been this person against that person. It has literally been no unity whatsoever amongst nobody. Even people that are supposed to be on the same side, they're disagreeing. Like, nobody is working together as a unity. And this nation is absolutely getting ripped apart by us. We're not getting ripped apart by no one else. We're getting divided by our own self. We're the ones ripping America apart. We're the ones ripping America in two. It's not some other country. It is America ripping ourselves right in half. Why? Because we're divided against ourselves, and it clearly says in the Word, as I just read to you, a divided city or house. And I know America is not a city, but that's the simple part that most of y'all have heard and most of y'all understand. A city or house divided against itself will not stand. And everybody wonders why America is on the brinks of this and falling apart and why we're not in good shape. It's because we're divided amongst ourselves. We don't stand together for nothing. We don't stand as one. We stand as many individuals with different things. We don't come in agreement. And I'm asking you right now that if there's one thing, if we can all agree on and come together about, is that we all need to pray for this nation, that we become as one again and not many individuals, because we're not going to stand that way. Many individuals are divided against each other, but the nation as a whole is when we'll stand together and we'll get this country back the way it needs to be. The White House is divided. Tennessee is divided. Florida is divided. Everything's divided about this country, and we're not standing as one. And I know we're not going against nobody else. We're not going against some foreign country. And you say, why? How can we stand against one by ourselves? It's because we're always fighting with one another. We're always butting our heads against one another. We're not trying to help our neighbor or understand. It's the minute we hear a disagreement, we want to come at them and attack them and beat each other down. And that's not how it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to be like that. We're not supposed to be fighting against one another. We're supposed to be helping each other out. And I'm not necessarily saying physically. I'm talking just all the way around, spiritually helping one another out. We're supposed to be helping each other out physically just as much. But instead, we're dividing and beating each other down instead of helping out one another. And that's not what we were meant to do. And people will say, America, we're falling apart. We'll wonder why. Because we're dividing ourselves apart. We're not putting ourselves together and holding it together. We're not holding ourselves together with love. We're dividing ourselves apart with hate. And it's a sad thing to look at. And honestly, while through this week, I believe it even started on Monday, I was hearing this and hearing that. This thing happened. This thing happened. Literally, all my Twitter timeline was seriously just division. It was division after division after division. Even some of my Facebook, even made it to Instagram a time or two. Like, it literally, nothing in this world is put together. We're all divided. And I'm not saying we all have to have the same opinion. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, instead of fighting against one another, when we have a disagreement, why don't we come together in love and be like, okay, I disagree with that, but I'm not going to fight you over it. It is not worth it. It's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to have different viewpoints, but it all starts falling down and we just start attacking one another. Why? Because we don't agree with the other person. We can't stand divided. A team itself, a football team, a baseball team, if they start getting one-on-one arguments, then one-on-one arguments, they start taking this person's side, taking this person's side, and then the whole team is divided in itself. But once they all put it aside and work together as one, that's when they can start doing stuff. In America, as one, that's what we're doing. One person says one thing, another person says another. Then this person gets on their side, this person gets on this side, then this state, then this state. Like, it just stacks up to where we're not even really a country anymore. We're a bunch of individual or even groups, rather, big groups that are divided against one another. Just because you don't agree with me, this is my group, I don't like you, I despise all of you. Or I'm with this group, but I'm against y'all's group. Like, we're all divided, and we need to come together. Why? Because the word is clearly being really fulfilled with all of that's been going on, if nothing else within this past week, that we are not standing as a nation because we're falling apart. We're too divided, and we are falling apart. So I'm sitting here asking you and begging you, can we not come together in unity and pray that this country gets back together as one? Because we're falling right now. And everyone wants to know why in the world America's falling. It's because we're divided. I'm not saying we're losing a battle with some foreign country. I'm talking we're losing a battle to ourselves. This is a civil war, more or less. And I'm not talking with guns. I'm talking with words. And this is a civil war, more or less, that we don't need to be having. We're a country. How are we supposed to do anything if we're divided? And that's exactly what we are as America. We are divided clearly, and we don't need to be. And that's a shame that we're all like this. It is a shame that we live all in the same country. We all have the same freedoms. We all have the same this. The same country. I live in the same America as you do. You live in the same America as I do. We're all in the same boat. But instead, we're trying to sink the boat and separate it because you don't like my half of the boat. And then and then I'm trying to come against your half of the boat, and the boat's eventually going to sink. Why? Because we're tearing it apart. Because you don't like my half and I don't like your half. This is all division. What this past week has been with, I'm not going to say specifically the topics, but I'm sure everyone knows one topic that I'm talking about, and others know what another topic I'm talking about. One of them, I don't even know the full effects of what's going on. I only know the full effects of one, but still, we're divided over it. You say one word about it, and then people are just going to attack you, whether you agree with them or not, because it wasn't said the way they like. It wasn't exactly what they are agreeing on. You could be on the same side as someone, and they're going to be agreeing. Like, y'all are going to be agreeing, but it's not the exact same way they agree, so they're going to disagree with you. We're too busy dividing instead of coming together and fixing everything. That's all the problems in America today, is because of the fact that we're divided. We're even dividing the church house. If you walk into church, left side don't like the right side. Sister Do Better doesn't like Mr. Know-It-All. And the whole church takes Sister Know-It-All side and Mr. Do Better side. And I know I just got them switched up right there, but y'all get my point. We're so divided. Nothing is working in America no more because we're divided. And the word says a divided house will not stand. America is a house, and we are not standing right now. We're falling apart, and we're coming down because we're not standing as one. Nobody understands that. We're all divided. Look at this world today. Look at this world today. Tell me one thing American can come in unity about. Take that back. We all come in unity about disaster. With the hurricanes that have been hit the past couple of years, we come together and we help out. But that's about it. We don't come together about nothing else. We divide amongst ourselves. And honestly, I believe personally, it's making God upset. Why? Because we're not having love, which is what He is. We're not showing love. Especially us Christians. A lot of us, we don't even show love like we're supposed to. We're supposed to be disciples and representatives of Him. But instead, we're out here bashing hate instead of showing love. That's the whole problem. Everything is all divided. We're not together no more. We are not standing as one. We're dividing ourselves as individuals and into group and into classes and so on and so forth. If we could all just come together as one, we could be fine. America, and this isn't because of Trump said it, if we could all come as one, America could be great again. No matter who's in the White House, no matter who's at a position of authority, nowhere. Nothing's going to happen until we come together as one. So I'm asking you people out there, can we not just come together as one and pray for this nation? Or is that too dividing amongst itself? Because you don't pray like Sister goes to church all the time but don't live it, or Mr. doesn't go to church all the time but prays, this, that, and the other? Is that too divided? Can we not just sit there and say, God, I know I don't disagree with sister this or brother that, but I'm praying for this nation to come together. But why? Because we need it. Because I love this country. I love the freedoms that I have. But we're falling apart, God, and I don't want to see this country keep going down like we're already going. You don't have to pray with people to come in agreement. You don't have to be physically in person to be in agreement. Because I'm sure if you're praying it, someone else somewhere is praying it. And prayer has no barriers. It's got no boundaries. Just because you're praying in your room doesn't mean you're not going to reach someone all the way in another state just because they're far away. Their prayers ain't going to reach there. No. If people would send prayers up about the same thing, all those prayers will merge together as one and reach God. I'm not saying one is an individual, no, but y'all get my point. We are too divided about everything, and we're not coming together at all about nothing. And this nation is suffering for it, and we are to blame for it. So I'm asking you, Christians, be Christians and pray. Don't just pray that, God, I wish you changed their mind because they don't think like me, or they don't worship like me, or they don't pray like me. Just come together as one to pray for this nation, because you live in it, and I don't want... okay, I'll put it to you this way. I heard someone say, I don't remember who it was, but it's just like, if you want the president to do bad, that's like wanting the pilot of this plane to go down. He is right now the leader of our country. I know a whole lot of people do not like him, and I'm not saying people should or shouldn't like him. I don't get into politics. I could care less about politics. But what I'm saying is that if you want him to go down, then you want the rest of this country to go down. Why? Because he's the pilot of our plane. America is the plane, and we voted him in to be the pilot of this plane. And here we are, we're dividing, and we're like, oh, we're just going to break the plane apart, and we're going to all come crashing down. We need to be lifting him up, saying, God, I may not want him to be my president, but he's the leader of authority in my country right now, and I need him to do well. Give him the guidance and the wisdom to lead this country the way they need to be led. But instead, we're too busy disagreeing, and we could care less about praying for him and God giving him the guidance to lead this country. And it's a shame. We do the same thing in churches with pastors. We might not like the pastor we have, even that got voted in, but instead of lifting him up, that God gives him the wisdom and the knowledge to lead the sheep, we're praying, God, we don't even pray really to him about him at all, because we don't like him. We don't want him to be there. And it's causing division in the church. And then it'll cause division at home, because the kids might like the pastor because he's such a nice guy, but the parents don't, and it'll cause division. There's so much division in this world. It is literally insane. So I'm asking everybody out there, can you not just pray that this nation becomes one again so we can stand? Because we can't stand at all when everyone else is breaking out from underneath and the rest is going to come crashing down. That's all I'm asking. That's all I've seen this week. And God laid it on me. I wasn't going to do it. I was like, God, that's too... especially going on at this time right now, this week, it's been terrible. And I'm like, God, you really want me to? And he has not lifted it off of me. He said, tell them that a divided house will not stand. So I'm sitting here telling you all, a divided house will not stand. And that's what America is right now. We are too divided. We're not going to stand. And that's literally all I can tell you right now. Is can we not just come together as one to pray for this nation? I don't care what side you're on. I don't care if you're on the right or the left, the front or the back. I don't care. All I'm asking is, can we not come together as one and pray for this nation, no matter who's in charge? I don't care what President Trump does. If you don't like it, pray God gives him... Just pray he gives wisdom to lead this country. That's all I'm asking. Pray for your pastor. I don't care if you like him or not. He's the leader of your church. Pray that God gives him the wisdom and knowledge to lead and do what you need to have done in that church. Because God wouldn't put him there if he didn't deserve to be there, if he didn't need to be there. That's all I can say right now, is that we need to quit praying, or we need to start praying and quit not praying just because we don't like something. We disagree with someone, we need to pray that somehow, some way, things get settled up and you two can become as one again. If you got a falling out with a friend and y'all separate and you just like, forget it, he's not important to me. No, you need to pray, God, show somebody if anybody is right, or, show the other person that this person's right and correct them. Even if it's me, oh God, show me. And then go back and apologize. Or even if that doesn't happen, still pray, God, at some point, can we please come back as one? Because I don't like being divided. I like being together as one and in unity. But this country won't do that. This country will not do that whatsoever. We're too divided. We're too divided by opinions. We're too divided by this and too divided by that. And we're not standing as one. When the Word of God clearly says a divided house will not stand, but yet we still continue to tear apart. We still continue to divide. We still continue to put down and break down instead of build up what we need to be doing. Nobody does what we need to do so this country can succeed. I don't care if you like the president. I don't care if you like this person in the office or that person. You need to pray that God gives them the wisdom and the knowledge to do what this country needs to have done, instead of just completely ignoring it at all and saying, I don't care what happens to them. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. We need to start caring. Because right now, what I've seen this past week is utterly ridiculous. It's straight division, and it is sad. It is heartbreaking. And it makes God so upset that His children are so divided. I put it to you this way. This is, I believe, how God is looking at it. If you were a parent right now and you had 2 kids, and they never wanted to play with each other because they always fought, they always disagreed, it would break your heart, because you would think, my children are never going to grow up and have the bond that I would like for them to have. That's exactly what God's doing right now. He's looking down upon His children, and He's heartbroken because His children don't want to play together, don't want to do nothing together, because they're too divided, and they're never going to come together with a bond and be what we could be. So I'm asking you, can we do nothing else but pray that this country gets back as one? Because we're not going to stand separated. We got to stand as one. So I'm asking you, if nothing else, can we not pray that this country gets back as one? One nation under God. Not 2 individuals, not 50 states, not this group, not that group, but one nation under God. One. But right now, we've completely thrown that away because we're too divided. We're too separated. We're no longer one nation under God. It's several groups under God. And that's not how it needs to be. We need to get back to one nation under God. And we need to start bringing this and listening to it, because it's our roadmap to succeed, and yet a bunch of us are throwing it away. Why? Because we don't agree with it. Simple as that. We're throwing this away because we don't agree with it. If it says something we don't like, we treat it as a person, like, oh, I don't like what that says. I'm done with it. And we get divided. When this word is clearly telling us what's going on in this land right now. It clearly tells you how you need to live and what you need to do in order to succeed. But instead, we don't like one word that it says or one verse, and we just toss it away. This country's in bad shape, people, and it's all because of us. We're too divided. We're not standing as one nation under God no more. We're standing as many groups and individuals under God. And that don't need to be that way. I don't believe that the national anthem was written with several different people, completely divided about what it says. I believe they all came in unity and said, no, we are one nation. We're not this state, this half of the continent, this half of the continent. No, we're one nation under God. But instead, we're separated under God, and we don't need to be. Can we please get it back to where we're one nation under God again? That's all I'm asking, because this is utterly heartbreaking. This is utterly disappointing to see how bad this stuff has gotten this past week. And I know several stuff is going on, and I don't quite frankly care what side you're on. I don't have a side. I put my opinion out there once, and honestly, I shouldn't have. It was a mistake. I shouldn't have got involved, but I did. So I apologize for that deeply. But just know, we need to quit being divided. We need to stand together as one again. Or else we're just going to keep falling. We're going to keep falling. We're going to keep crashing down. It's going to be one thing after another. So I ask, if you see this, if you're watching it live, if you're watching it on my YouTube channel after I've done posted it, if you're watching this later, I don't care when you're watching it, I'm asking you one question and one question only. Can you not pray that this nation becomes one again? I don't care if you pray about anything else. I hope you pray about your lost loved ones and all that, don't get me wrong. But if you pray for anything else, pray that this nation, your nation, my nation, our nation, gets back to one nation under God. And that's my biggest question for you. That's all I can say. God, that's all I've got to say. God, I feel God's telling me to shut up, so I'm going to. I've said what I felt He wanted me to say. If you don't like it, don't shoot the messenger. You talk to God about it, because that's what He gave me to say, and felt like it needed to be said, because that's what He told me to say. And I was laying in bed, and I was afraid to say it, but He's laid it on me every day this week. This needed to be said. So I hope you share this video. I hope you spread the word about it, because I feel like, and don't do it because of me. Do it because it's true. Because our nation needs to get back to one nation. And so we can actually start standing for once. That's all God wanted me to say. Be in prayer for me again so I can do this next week. We had an injury last night in the game. Kid got taken out in an ambulance. Remember him in prayer. Don't believe me or Tanner's preaching anywhere, anytime, within the next week. With that being said, I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. God bless.